Hey familia, welcome. My name is Janet. If you're new, welcome to the fam. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because we're always here having a good time. And come visit me on TikTok and Instagram because I'm there daily. And of course, welcome back to my oldies but goodies. This month is National Latino Hispanic Heritage Month, and to commemorate that, let's do a Latina / brown skin makeup friendly tutorial using only drugstore makeup. What you think about that? So as you know, I am Latina. I am first generation Latina. My mom is from El Salvador. My dad is from Honduras. And they came together here in Los Angeles and had me and my sibling. Here we are, your brown skin homegirl. And I want you to think of me as like your tia or your friend, your bestie that's about to teach you how to beat this face and not look ashy. Because when you are a person of color, especially if you're like a medium or deeper skin tone, makeup colors truly impact the way you're gonna look and not look gray and not look flat and not look just blah. You know how sometimes your makeup's just blah? It's because the coloring's off. I want to start off with brows because look, I'm even bald with my brows today. I want to remove any product that I may have, which could be like sunscreen, moisturizer. Oh, we are working strictly with the hairs. I like this brow, what is this glue from L'Oreal? This is the shade Dark Brunette. When it comes to brow products, depending on the color of your skin, it's gonna look differently on everyone. It could look like this rich brown you see here on the wand. Up against your skin tone, it may look different because you have pigment in your skin. I'm gonna just kind of color this gently. You can see here, you see that red undertone? My skin tends to pull a little bit red because I am a neutral undertone. I could fall in like a pinch of a cool tone, and cool tone in this case would be like more red, pink. Start combing these up before this dries, especially because I have sparse brows. Get a spoolie that doesn't have product and you're gonna start blending this out so your brows don't look super harsh like mine do now. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get some micellar water, clean this up because I'm like, wait, hold a minute, hold up. There we go. Yeah, I forgot I have the thickest. I used it yesterday and I was like, dang, I love this. This is the shade Espresso. This is a deep brown, kind of neutral, so on my skin tone it appears nice. Oh wait, I like this mix, this L'Oreal mix. Oh, you see my skin just pulls a little bit of red. First thing is you want to see what your skin typically pulls. If you're warm, you may pull a little bit yellow, a little bit orange. If you're neutral is the middle of warm and cool. So warm as in, I would say yellow, orange. Cool as in pink, red. You can be in the middle. You could be a true neutral, or you could be like an olive neutral that pulls green. Or like me, I'm a cool neutral. Fall in very slightly. Brows, you want something that's really pigmented. This pan from NYX, it is ash brown. In the pictures on NYX's website, it literally looks like an ashy brown. On my skin tone, it looks like a neutral brown. So that's why I love this shade. It works so well. I'm just gonna fill in all the sparse areas. I've literally purchased about 5 because I use it so much, and this shade is perfect. Although I use espresso in this one's a bit too deep. It makes my eyebrows look too dark. Now let's get concealers. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop from NYX, soft beige. I'm gonna mix it in with oatmeal L'Oreal. I personally like a highlighted brow. It just makes my eyebrow appear like it's up higher. So that's why I like to mix a bit of a lighter shade. I'm gonna get it really close to the brow and clean it up so that my brows look nice and polished. Fill in this little spot I have here. Yeah, see? Also with the eyebrow color, you don't want it to be too dark. If you're doing like a lighter makeup, it can look like your brows are way too intense. But if you're doing a more full coverage makeup, this brow would be good because that's what we're doing today. And you see this cleanup? Look at these brows. We'll get this one on in 3, 2, done. Eyebrows are on. When it comes to drugstore eyebrow pencils, I do find that if you have brown skin, drugstore, if I use like a brown shade, let's say medium brown, it tends to look very red on me. If you see the actual pencil, you would think it's dark brown. The black browns are the real true dark browns at the drugstore. When it comes to high-end makeup, they have the brow shades a little bit better than the drugstore. So I always find myself using either the black shade or the dark brown, and sometimes dark brown is not it, or the black brown. That's how I get my eyebrows. You see, even though I use two different browns, you see how it kind of pulls a little bit red? This brow, you can really see it. My brows are so uneven, but it's okay. This is the good brow today. When it comes to primer, you want to make sure the primer you're using is what you're targeting for. So I'm targeting my texture and my big pores. I also do have oily skin. Today, I want more of a blurring look than anything. You want to make sure your primer doesn't leave you with the white cast. When you look at a white cast, you'll know it's a white cast if it's not blending into your skin pretty immediately. You see how this is just blending in nicely? It's a blur screen, so it's kind of like sunscreen. It has the potential to have a white cast, but this one does not. You want to make sure your primer goes on your skin transparent, because we are building a base and layering our makeup. When you have brown skin, you layer your makeup so it appears well and not ashy. We're gonna let this dry. You always want to let your primer dry down for at least a minute so it can start doing what the primer is meant to do. So the moment you let this one dry down, it's gonna start blurring my skin. My pores won't look as big, and it also has like a tacky effect. In the layering process, I'm gonna use a bit of a glow. This glow from Catrice, this is not a necessary step, but I really like how this looks on the skin. It gives you a subtle glow, and it also blurs your skin. So now what we have blurring is this and a little bit of this. I always like to let my foundation and creams dry down a little bit, and then I blend, because the application and the layering is gonna be chef's kiss, I promise. Talking about amazing things, Real Techniques at the drugstore, my favorite brushes. I swear they're so good. So we're just going to blend this out. This is just a light wash of color, a light glow. Some people use this as a foundation, but for me it's way too light. It doesn't really cover anything for me because I have discoloration on my skin due to being a brown skin girl. My mom has like a lot of discoloration. I basically inherited from her. When you're using a glow, you want to make sure you get it close to your complexion as possible. If you get something too light, it's gonna leave a white cast. Since we're layering, you don't want to start something that's gonna be way too light for you, because it's gonna make you look ashy. You want to get your tone, and my tone here is medium. I would categorize my skin tone. I'm a medium tan skin tone with neutral undertone. If you want to have a little more color, I would suggest some bronzing drops. It'll give you like a slight glow. This will also help build your strong base. These drops from Milani are amazing because they're not glittery. This is the shade 120 medium. You see, it goes on a little bit warm. If you blend it in, it blends to your skin nicely. Bronzing drops is not a necessary step. You see how it just added a little bit of color to my base? This can help if your foundation's too light. If you want to look more bronzy, it'll just give you that look. Now you see how my face is matching my neck a little bit more. My face is typically a lot lighter than my neck, my chest, and my shoulders because I use sunscreen every day. I just love how these apply. They don't peel or anything. I'm just gonna blend this out. Bronzing drops will give you warmth. They're not gonna really be cool. It's gonna give you a wash of color. So layering is important. Things are not made exactly to match our skin tone. I have to start mixing, and that's what we're doing in order to get to a solid base that is going to last. We want to match our complexion. Drugstore foundations. Drugstore foundations notoriously run very, very warm. You're gonna have to get you some of these. So if you have brown skin and you always find yourself like, why do I look like a Oompa Loompa? It's not you, it's the shades. They're just too warm. You'll have to cool it down. You can either cool it down with blue. Think of blue as in cold. You know how your lips turn blue or purple when you're cold? That's cool. You can also cool your foundation with pink, depending how much you want to cool it. If you want more of a drastic change, it's gonna be blue because blue pigments are very potent. This pink, it's like a subtle cool. This is a more potent cool. I typically like blue. I'm gonna show you here a color wheel. The color wheel, you see purple and blues are together, and in the opposite direction, you're gonna have your yellows, your orange. That's warm. So those are literally the opposites. Typically blue will cover and change the warm because blue is a lot more pigmented, just like brown skin. I love this LA Girl pigment. I love to mix foundation. This was way too warm when I reviewed it, but I really like like the formula. This is the e.l.f. Medium 370 Neutral. Has a good neutral undertone. Let me show you. This is Wet n Wild. You see? This probably will oxidize a little bit neutral, but it's pretty warm. See how it doesn't match my neck? This is e.l.f. This is a true neutral. Look at e.l.f. True neutral. That's how you know the difference. I want to show you what the blue will do to Wet n Wild. We're gonna add a little bit. Because blue is so potent, if you use too much, you're gonna end up looking gray. So you wanna kind of make sure you mix well. And this blue can darken up the foundation a little bit. I'm gonna get another finger, not the finger I mixed it with. See how e.l.f. is oxidizing and melting into my skin? This is the updated shade with the blue. You see how that just melted in? Like, where is it? So this is Wet n Wild. This is the updated shade with blue. You see how it just completely disappears and Wet n Wild is just warm? The beauty. And this is literally magic. True neutral, you're not gonna need the blue. It's just gonna make it too gray for you if you add the blue. I would suggest buy just this and have it in your makeup just in case. Sometimes your skin warmth too, it changes the look of foundation. So always account for oxidation or when you apply it with your own skin chemistry, things just will look different. We're gonna do a little mixer of e.l.f. Wet n Wild. When it comes to foundations, L'Oreal True Match really created amazing shades, especially for us that have brown skin, because they added blue pigment in their formulation. Most brands don't have blue pigment. It may just be because it's too expensive or the chemist may not mix it well. Could be like 1,000 different reasons. When L'Oreal released that line, why it matched so well and so perfectly, it's because of that blue pigment. That blue pigment allows a lot of shades to be true neutrals and to be cool tones, like true cool tone shades, instead of the warm shades that the drugstore notoriously has. You'll find a foundation shade with that foundation. Look at this match. Look at this match. But because this is a true neutral and I added a little bit of warmth, it's gonna work. Mixing it, not only do you get a more perfect shade, especially if you have brown skin, the different types of textures, like this is thicker, this is more skin tint, you're just gonna get the best of both worlds in texture along with color. And to reference the color wheel again, you guys saw that the blue canceled out that orange and that yellowness of the e.l.f. foundation. So you can always reference a color wheel to be like, wait, what? Same thing goes with under eyes. My under eyes, they look gray on camera, but in person, they are purple and they're like blue. What cancels that out, again, with the color wheel, you see the opposite is yellow. Pink can do it also. Red can do it if they're deeper. If they're more on the brown blue, you can use red to completely cancel out that discoloration. I like a bright under eye, so yellow, not only is it gonna color correct, it's gonna brighten that area too. This is the yellow from LA Girl. When it comes to brown skin makeup, you're always going to have to color correct some way. Why? Because our brown skin tends to pull a lot of different colors and we tend to get hyperpigmentation, melasma. I have melasma, I have dark under eye. To even your skin out, color correcting is what's gonna come in play. Honestly, I could have really color corrected these, but I forgot. Right now, we're color correcting the under eyes. If you're like, I don't wanna use a color corrector, it's too much work, buy a concealer that is warm. So this is soft beige, but let's say you can use warm beige and you're gonna get that yellow with the concealer shade at the same time. I'm able to use a lighter concealer because I have this yellow, which is gonna help color correct already. Then I can go with the lighter shade. A light shade concealer, something like this, can make things look straight up gray and very weighed down. Same thing goes with a bronzer. Spilling tea from Milani, you see how warm it is? It looks on the brush, but let's apply it. You think it looks too warm? It's a little warm. With my skin tone, it works, right? There's another one that I like. I'm talking about L'Oreal True Match. N8, so neutral 8. Look at this. I'm gonna use the back of the brush, the Alamar brush. When it comes to a bronzer too, you want it to only be about 2 shades deeper, maybe 3, depending how bronzed you want to look. If you get a shade that's too deep for your skin tone, it could cause some ashiness, or it just doesn't really mesh in with your skin. You see how this bronzer, it's just kind of melting in? Well, if I blend it well, hold on. I add a little bit of warmth to my nose. Now that we've had this color corrector sitting, with your creams, part of the layering process is letting your creams dry down. They tend to stick on your skin when you blend it. That pigment will stay there because it's already dried down a little bit. You see how this already looks bright and this still looks a little gray, a little purple? If you're like, wait, I want a little more brightness, you can add more, but this time you want to add less because you don't want to add too much product because that's going to accentuate fine lines, especially in the eye area, your laugh lines, pores, texture. So you want to kind of do it slowly but surely. Okay, I let this dry for a little bit. I like to blend with the sponge because the sponge will give you light wash of color. The brush for my foundation, because that's the foundation's the base. I need this color to really pop, and a brush will give you the most pigment out of any other tool. A lot of times foundations will just give you a flat look, right? This is why we go in with a cream bronzer, which gives us a little bit of the color back. And then we want to go in with a blush. You want to find things that are pigmented. When you have brown skin, lighter shades tend to disappear on your skin. It can look like you have a white cast. One of the most pigmented cream blushes that I see out here in the drugstore, especially LA Girl. I've been using this for I think 3 years now, 4 years. She's a thick girl. See this pigment? This is what you want when you're using cream products. You want to make sure all your cream products, included in your foundation, is pigmented because that pigment is going to also help color correct discoloration. Like right now, you see this? My foundation, it's not color correcting that, so I'm gonna use some of my yellow to color correct those gray spots, old acne scars. I like to warm it up with my hand. You could tap it with your finger so that you can control the product a lot more. This can also be used as a color corrector. Let's say your foundation's too warm, you can add a red or pink, like dark pink blush, and on your skin tone, it will help cool down that very warm foundation you have. So these bright blushes really help because they appear so clearly on your skin. You know how Danessa Myricks, all her blushes are super bright and vibrant? It's because they're made for people of color. Can give you that wash of color that a lot of brands don't do. You see? Ooh. And then look, if you're like, wait, that's a little too light, Magdalene, get some more, a little oomph in the step. Let's put some more. And you know how I am with my blush. Okay, I get way too carried away all the time. You can also build up. So right now I am layering the blush and I'm building it up. Therefore, you see it on your skin tone. I always recommend to do your blush first and then your concealer, because in case you're like, whoa, blush blindness, you can always tone it down with your blush, with your concealer. I put my foundation brush, add a little bit here, make sure cohesive and nicely blended. Milani has pumpkin concealer, and orange will also color correct that darkness. Depending on your skin tone is depending how it's gonna work. The lighter you are, the lighter the colors will be. The deeper your skin, the deeper the color. Yellow, peach works well for my tone. I can also use like a light orange and then a deeper orange for someone who has tan skin. More of a deeper red can be someone that has a deeper tone that will help color correct any discoloration. This is more of a neutral tone. I'm gonna add it here in the inner corner. The innermost corner is where we have darkest in the under eye area, so we're gonna keep it there. Again, we're gonna let it dry down. So let's start blending. Because we let all the creams dry down, concealer is really not gonna mix in with that blush. If you're scared that you're like, wait, they're touching one another, it's okay. It won't mix because it's been sitting there. Talking about sitting there, tap it with the foundation brush. It looks good. You see, you don't see that grayness pop off. Oh, this concealer is so good. See how it toned down the blush and it's more cohesive looking. This is that once we put on powders, the game's gonna change. Colors will always look different depending on what your skin tone is. This is gonna look different if you're watching someone with a fair skin tone. If you ever wonder like, why doesn't my makeup look like that? It's because your skin tone is literally different. It's deeper. It's delicious, which is why it's very important and someone that looks like you, has your same skin tone, to show you how colors look on skin that looks like yours. Ooh, looking B, okay. The drugstore is yet to give a good setting powder besides Maybelline Fit Me. Because I don't want to look ashy, I'm gonna start off with a pressed foundation powder to do the first like light set on my skin. I just did a powder video and I explained everything why I do it the way I do. Powders can also do color correcting as well. I've always had very dark under eyes. I feel like it's a hereditary thing. I've always liked the look of a bright eye. That's just my jam. I love it. I find that these powders, not only are they really finely milled and good, they're pretty pigmented. And when you are Latina, especially as Latinas, we come in every single shade imaginable. We can look like every ethnicity. This is a very fair shade because I like that highlighted look. I'm gonna go in with shade number 10 with Maybelline that has this yellow. Again, we're sticking with the yellow because it's gonna also help color correct that darkness that I have. So I'm gonna prep my little powder puff. When you're done with your creams, you're looking, you're assessing, you're like, am I missing something? Is my blush too light? You want to make sure you go back and just kind of make sure things are good, because once you set your skin, you can't go back with creams and try to fix that because now your skin is dry. Get rid of creases. Going in with that Revlon powder, we're gonna look straight ahead, press, press, press. Again, we are color correcting these under eyes. Color correcting is in the name. You're color correcting something. I'm right now color correcting the darkness in my under eye area. Speaking of color correcting, we're gonna get a little bit of the yellow powder. I'm gonna just concentrate it in the inner corner because this is a loose powder. Loose powders tend to get in the nooks and crannies of all the creases of your face. Now we're gonna go in with a powder foundation. Depending on type of coverage you like, I like this one from NYX. It's a powder foundation slash loose translucent powder. It has like that in between. You wanna get a brush that is gonna hold product. The way you know a brush is holding product is when you go like that, you'll see it. I'm just gonna start tapping in. This is gonna give us a wash of color. Although we already have color because of our liquid foundation, our bronzer, and our blush. And when you set your face, it tends to take away some color. It tends to make you look flat again. That is the process of layering makeup. That is how your makeup is going to last, is by doing the steps sort of over and over again until you reach the pigmentation that you want. And you see how the blush no longer looks as vibrant, but that's okay. That's when powders come into the play. So now we're like in phase 2. First phase was the creams. Second phase is the setting. My lids are discolored, but because I wear eyeshadow, I don't really put too much effort in color correcting them because I'm just gonna put a bronzer on the lid. That's why I really focus a lot of my energy in this area here. The drugstore doesn't have a lot of bronzers that I like. Pero where is it? NYX butter bronzers and blush are one of my favorites. Also L'Oreal Infallible line. They have a bronzer and a blush. Amazing. Literally so pigmented. Things that are pigmented are not bad. I love very pigmented things because you can work with them. It shows up on our skin tone so well. With the bronzer, you're gonna want to use a bronzer that's 2 to 3 shades deeper than your skin tone. This butter bronzer, is this kind of neutral? See? And I love it because it doesn't make me look too Oompa Loompa orange, but it doesn't make me look too red. I've tried one that's red and you guys saw that review. I mean, I wasn't mad at it. I kind of liked it. When it comes to makeup, you're gonna do what you want to do. I'm always wanting to explain why I do the things that I do, why this process takes me a little bit, why layering is important, why color correcting is important, why does representation matter. That's why your girl's here, because we need makeup to look so good on us that we just feel good, you know? Not me having this helmet on. I remember growing up going to Macy's, like the Macy's counter, and my mom like never really having a foundation shade because she's deeper than I am. She's probably, I would say, like 2 to 3 shades deeper, and she has a very red undertone. And I just remember looking at the colors and I'm like, damn, they don't match my mom. But I also couldn't really articulate what was happening. I just knew it didn't match her. It's like now, oh my God, need to fix that. Now I'm like in a position where I can really speak about makeup, look at colors, teach about colors, show you how colors look. As a first generation Latina, that just makes me so happy. NYX really came through with these blushes. I'm just so happy that they exist. You see this? You ever find yourself like, dang, this is too much? Grab some. Just hit it in your hand. You're gonna get rid of some of the pigment and then you can add it on your cheek and you can build. That's the beauty about makeup. You don't always have to have intense makeup. I like intense makeup. One, because I have oily skin and oily skin tends to break makeup down. Two, I have brown skin, so it's gonna take more layers for my makeup to show up on my skin tone. One swipe of blush is not gonna work. It may work for like 30 minutes. Once I start getting some body warm, time starts going, the makeup starts disappearing. That's what I don't want. I want it to look good. So that's why layering is so important. Another sort of color correcting thing that I like to do, I'm gonna use this powder. It's not my favorite for my skin because it's a little too yellow. A good powder shade that I like right now is the Makeup by Mario Neutral Peach shade. That shade is so perfect. Also the One Size Peach shade. Those peach shades will look really good on your skin because it won't look too ashy and it will melt into your skin so nicely. Color correct a little bit this area, aka clean it up. I'm like cleaning up all those areas I kind of messed up on. By the way, I love using powders. You don't have to use all these powders. Honestly, just use the foundation powder. For the way I used it, just like bam, 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 and you're done with powder. You don't need any more. But I'm a powder girl. Because this is kind of pigmented, if you leave it on a really long time, it's gonna create those like harsh lines. So a quick tip, if you're using a powder that you have and it's too light, but it's what you have and that's what you got working with, get any foundation powder. I'm gonna use, you know what, let's use Infallible. Get the same brush and you're gonna brush it away. You don't have those lines of demarcation. And if you're like, wait, my blush is a little too, get that foundation powder again. You're gonna blend. Don't be afraid of mixing all your makeup because ideally you want your makeup to be mixed / blended all together, like cohesively looking like one. Remember how I put too much bronzer? You can get that foundation powder and kind of add a little bit. You're not looking like you have that helmet. But right now, the layering we've done is just gonna make our makeup look so good, last all night, look like a brown queen goddess. And whew, we next want to mesh these things together, right? A little meshing with some Milani. So this is mainly going to mesh things together. So we're gonna wet our face. You want to make sure you have something to dry your face just a little bit because you see those wet specks. You want to move quickly because you don't want those wet specks to kind of dry down like that. So as we moisten our face up, if you don't like that powdery look, this is where you stop. This is where you're like, enough, Magdalene. But there isn't enough for me. You're gonna get your powder puff, the one you've been using, without adding additional product. You're gonna get that powder and press it down. This is gonna do like a double sealing, like seal, like lock. And if you want a little more you're gonna get your powder foundation, a little one more layer. If you want more on that bronzer, you're gonna throw in that bronzer without adding additional product. Let me not mess this up because I fixed it. If you want a little more blush, like, okay, let's get the blush going. When you do it this last time, it gives so much more pigment because your face is already a little damp. It's like, imagine wetting your brush and just adding a little bit of That's what this step does. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but this gives your face so much more dimension. You know how you can just see everything. We're going to do a flash test so you can see how brown skin approved this is, but let me just finish my eyes and I'll be back. I'm ready. I'm going to an event. I wanted to get ready and do this makeup look. I will insert photos of the non-flashback we have. Oh, my lip combo. It's this one right here. Punchy and Player from Maybelline. Let me make sure. Yes, number 3. Player and Punchy. And let's do a flashback. Let's see. Oh wait, the flash isn't on. And with this, we're looking for is to see if we have any flashback, if my skin looks pale, if it looks like it doesn't match my body, and you see how it matches my shoulders. So yes, let me know your thoughts. I'm not gonna do a wear test because we know this is gonna wear beautifully. Really hope this video was helpful, talking about how to do Latina brown skin makeup on people that look like me and you. I hope all the tips and tricks helped. Color correcting explanation was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Remember a few keys. Make sure your makeup is pigmented, that it has pigment so it shows up on your skin well. Make sure you layer slowly. Make sure your tones are for color. So if they're lighter, you can add a little bit of bronzer, make it darker. If it's too dark, you can add a little bit of white pigment. If it's too warm, add the blue pigment. Makeup is fun and you could truly create your own. I'm happy that the drugstore has very pigmented makeup that us people of color can wear. I'm gonna jump in front of the window so you guys can see how my skin looks before the sun goes down. Look, you see the color? This is the goal. The goal is to match and make sure everything is just meshed in with our beautiful brown skin. What do you think? What you think? Oh, and this has been, like, you see this glow is skin warmth because it's been a little over an hour that I've had the makeup on. But yeah, I just want to show you in daylight. I love you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Join the family. Click the button right there and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.